What is up, everybody? It is Sean O from the Upper Tier Podcast and your NXT Weekly. I have decided to give Bren the week off. Obviously, if you guys have noticed, me and Bren rotate from one another. Some weeks he does the NXT review and some weeks I do it. And this week we both decided that I would do it. Hopefully in the next few weeks we will get Bren on and do a show together, a little collab for the channel, which would be absolutely brilliant, and hopefully we can get that sorted and look forward to it. Excuse me looking like shit. It's only Wednesday and it has been a hell of a long week already, but we pushed through nonetheless. What an absolutely amazing show we had in NXT last night. We crowned three, not one, not two, three new champions. I actually don't think that's ever happened on a regular NXT episode, or if so, not in a long time anyway. So it was really cool to see, and it was actually really surprising considering in most cases titles don't change hands on weekly episodes, so it's always kind of nice to get a little surprise like that. Jumping in, we had the Vanity Project versus Dark State for the NXT Tag Team titles. Obviously, I don't know how to feel. I feel the past few years the NXT titles haven't been as relevant as they once were. I think the NXT tag titles were probably the biggest tag titles in wrestling just a few years ago, and I feel in the last 2 or 3 years maybe it's kind of gone downhill a bit. I think WWE have released a lot of their tag teams and a lot of their potential best wrestlers they could maybe put into a tag team, so I feel like WWE is just kind of getting back to that basis now of having good tag teams, strong tag teams, and starting to build the division back up again. Obviously, I thought this was a great match. I've enjoyed Dark State's reign, but have I loved it? No. If I'm to put it on my favourites, it would be pretty low on the list. They kind of just held the titles and did promos for most of the reign, and that for me personally just doesn't cut it. You know, I think we need good storylines, good matches, good promos, good mic work, and I just haven't seen that with Dark State. The Vanity Project, although being very new to WWE, signing within probably the last year, if even, they were a tag team on Evolve, and they were absolutely brilliant, and obviously moving up to NXT, and I think they got called up to NXT because they were so short of tag teams on the brand that they saw the Vanity Project and said, you know what, let's get them up onto the roster and put them in the tag team title picture. And I wouldn't blame them. I think this was perfect. I think they hit the nail on the head. Obviously, the Vanity Project consists of Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor, who are now your new NXT Tag Team Champions. The leader of the stable is the Evolve champion Jackson Drake, and he was by their side at Ring last night when they won the titles. I'm actually quite happy they won. I think it was kind of about time that Dark State lost the tag team titles. So I'm happy that the Vanity Project picked the title up, and I'm excited for the reign. Obviously, Tony D'Angelo got involved in the match and smashed one of the members of Dark State down onto the ring apron, costing them the titles. So again, this leans into Tony D'Angelo's feud with Dark State. He said that he's going to take everything from them, and I think this is the start. So congratulations to the Vanity Project for picking up the NXT Tag Team titles last night. Now, we got Keanu Carver versus Sean Legacy both very new to the brand as well. They signed when the Vanity Project signed, and that was only about a month ago. So still very new to NXT, but they have a bit of experience from Evolve. Sean Legacy was a phenomenal star on Evolve, and I still think he should have won that title. But I'm praying that he can get the North American title in NXT. Keanu Carver has had an absolute brilliant showing over the past few weeks. I feel like they're kind of reinventing him as the Obafemi, the new version of Obafemi, which I don't know how I feel. I feel like any male superstar that's big and jacked and tall gets put into that kind of Obafemi or manager or bodyguard type role, and I just don't think it suits. So I'm kind of praying they don't do that with Keanu Carver, as he is a phenomenal talent. So obviously another brilliant match last night. Not too much to add about it. Keanu Carver absolutely decimating Sean Legacy and picking up the victory. Next up, folks, we got a triple threat for the WWE Speed Championship. I've said it before, I don't really see the Speed titles as championships in WWE. They're just not that relevant. But I've been quite happy with the showing, if I'm being honest, as much as I shit on it. They're consistently on TV every week. The champions are consistently in matches, hence obviously the tournament, you know. So last night we got a triple threat of the current champion Jasper Troy versus Eli Knight and the newest addition to the roster, Ilio LaFleur, formerly known as Aigla Blanc. Ilio LaFleur picking up the victory last night and becoming the new Speed champion. So congratulations to him. He is an absolutely phenomenal talent, and I know he will 100% fly high in NXT. So I'm excited to see his run 100%. If you guys haven't seen his work on the independent scene, go on YouTube, find some videos. He is phenomenal. Easily one of the best on the independent scene during his time. So I am 100% excited to see what he can do in NXT. So once again, congratulations to Ilio LaFleur. Next up, we had Thea Hale versus Blake Monroe in a Speed tournament match. What's going on? You know, first of all, you had Blake Monroe going after her Women's North American title again. You had Thea Hale going after it. Then you had Jada Parker going after it. And now you're like, no, we'll keep this feud, but we'll throw Thea and Blake in a Speed tournament. What a downgrade. Seriously, how do you expect anyone to take them seriously if they're going from the top card of NXT into the Speed tournament? And that's not to diminish the Speed titles, but it doesn't make sense. What are you doing? Let's get real. Let's get serious here. Shawn Michaels, get your shit together a bit, you know? So obviously Jada Parker got involved in the match, attacking Blake Monroe, and Thea Hale pinning Blake to pick up the win and advance in the tournament. Next up, folks, Uriah Connors defeated Cale Dixon. This was after Uriah Connors turned his back on Chase U and joined Lexis King's stable. Again, I like what they're doing with Lexis King's stable, but it's just not relevant. It's one of those things that's there, but no one's really paying attention, and it's quite sad because it's quite a good stable actually. You have Lexis King, you have Channing Stacks, and you have the new TNA Knockouts World Champion Ariana Grace. So it's a pretty good stable, and I think if they're given the right storyline, I think they could make something out of it, you know. But Uriah Connors picking up the win and defeating Cale Dixon. Next up, folks, Miles Bourne defeated Ethan Page to win the North American title. Or the Canadian title. Depends if you're Canadian, folks. We love our Canadians too on this podcast. I just want to be very clear about that. I don't like maple syrup, but I like Canadians. Very nice people. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, folks. Obviously, this was another brilliant match. Obviously, the kind of stipulation, if I should say, if Ethan Page retained the title, he would officially be the longest reigning North American champion in history, obviously surpassing the previous longest reigning champion, Obafemi's reign. Miles Bourne picked up the victory after a great match. I think he is a phenomenal talent. Someone I've definitely had my eye on for a while and knew that he could be a star in NXT, and I think now's the time. I think WWE really need to pull the trigger on this one and make it worth his while. And I'm praying he gets a good reign out of it, a good solid reign. Obviously, Ethan is now tied with Obafemi and Carmelo Hayes to be the longest reigning North American champion in history. But let's see what Miles Bourne can do with the title. Obviously, Miles Bourne is dating the WWE Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. So now they're both holding gold, which is pretty cool. A massive congratulations to Miles Bourne. I think he is an absolute brilliant talent, and I am 100% sat and ready for this reign. And I'm praying they do it justice. So I am. Next up, folks, we've got some sad news, folks. Zaruka has ended. What the hell? Obviously, Sol Ruka was slated to to challenge Jacy Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship. They got in the ring and were about to start the match, but before the bell could ring, Zarya speared Sol Ruka, taking her out. Obviously the bell rang then, and Jacy Jayne hit her finisher, the rolling encore on Sol Ruka, and retaining the championship. This doesn't come as a surprise, but I don't know how I feel about the way they did it. I guess they were going to have her cost Sol Ruka an opportunity at some point, because the whole storyline was, you've taken so many opportunities from me, I'm going to take one from you. But I feel like they kind of should have pushed it out to maybe stand and deliver and have, I don't know, a triple threat later that night or something for the title, between JC, Zarya and Sol. But it is what it is, and it was a brilliant segment and match. I don't know if you can even call it a match. It was about 5 seconds, but it was brilliant nonetheless. Zarya faces Jacy Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship next week, and could Sol Ruka get her revenge and cost Zarya the title, as she has costed her so many opportunities already? But it's quite sad that Zaruka has broken up, as they were such a brilliant team in NXT, and the past few months they've been extremely entertaining. I'm just kind of hoping that this is their way of having Sol Ruka move up to the main roster, because she 100% needs to be there. I think her as a mid-card champion is 100% future world champion without a doubt, but I would love to see her go onto the main roster and win maybe the Women's United States Championship. Obviously that title hasn't been doing too well as of late, so I think Sol Ruka would be the perfect champion and challenger for that title. But look, can Zarya defeat Jacy Jayne and do what Sol Ruka and many other challengers couldn't do, and that is defeat Jacy for the NXT Women's Championship? We will find that out next week. Folks, that is it for the NXT review this week. Bren, we miss you, buddy. We will hopefully have you next week, possibly. We'll see how things work out. Folks, if you're not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed now. What the hell are you doing if you're not subscribed? Like, get your shit together. Seriously, folks. Like, if I have time to subscribe, you have time to subscribe. Takes 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That's it. We are pumping out content each and every day for your entertainment and for your watching needs and purposes. Everything wrestling related, football related, you name it, we do it. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss anything. Folks, I have been Sean O. I have been the chef, and that is your chef's kiss for the week.